Okay, so in my efforts to expand my tool set and services I can provide, I've been, as you know, kind of figuring out the 3D mapping and modeling stuff. But I wanted to show you this in particular. So this is a quarry, much like what you have at North Star there. And we have obviously an overhead 2D picture. We have these areas highlighted here. These are their stockpiles, as you can see. So they are color coded, it looks like, by material type. So this blue is 3/4 inch rock, 24 QA sand, 8C. But you can see when we click on the stockpile here, I think this one is the one we clicked on, stockpile number 5. It's giving you the area, your cut fill, your material volume in yards cubed, and I believe we can change that to feet or meters cubed if necessary. Gives you your weight and your mass in tons, and it gives you the value. So you can see here the stockpile is 15.8 mil, roughly. So that is a pretty cool tool right there, that we have all of that information just right here in this program. You can change this to some different options. We have a compare map and we have a 3D view. I'll go into 3D view here in just a second. If we go to the compare tool, we have this that we were looking at, shot May 6, 2019. Then we have one over here shot February 6, 2019. So 3 months apart or quarterly. You can see the variations in the stockpiles as a visual representation of how these have, it looks like in this case, they've developed more material. They've brought more material out of the ground. So as a visual representation, you can see those changes. You can pan through like this, zoom out and see, trucks used to go in here to get loaded. Now this is all filled up. So as far as site planning, that is, I think, a pretty valuable tool to see that side-by-side comparison. Probably other good uses for it as well that you could use. I don't know all of what you guys do or what all you guys can gather from this information. I just know it's a lot of information, is very valuable. So on top of this 2D topographical map, well, it's a 2D map. How did they get these 3D, the volumetric measurements? Well, let's go into 3D here. And you can see, they did a full 3D map of this area all the way down into the pit. And you can see these stockpiles. If you get a nice side view, you can see how these elevations look on the ground. And we can move this camera around. We can see this one here cut in. You can see where these, trucks were brought in here. And how the machines, are all laid out. But the important part here is these stockpiles. If I select one, it'll take that measurement that we have and lift it up off the ground so that we have this isolated image here. And again, here is your measurements. Here's your volume, the area that it covers even, and your value is, based on the material that it is. There's other things in here that we can do. Point cloud, for example. I don't know if this is really at all useful for you, but we can get into a point cloud map, which all of these little dots are like pixels on a screen, except for each of these little dots has a color value as well as a XYZ axis, its GPS location and elevation data incorporated in each of these points has all that data. And I think in this there's like 11 million points or something like that. I can show you. Here's your accuracy. I'm not licensed, so I can't verify accuracy, but all of these measurements are accurate within 1/10 of a foot. We click on this processing report and it opens this. And this is where you're going to get the information, probably give to a surveyor to verify the accuracy of things. It gives you, the data set quality, the orthomosaic coverage, so where the pictures have overlaid very well and where there's a little bit lacking. It gives the sensor information because each camera has a different sensor and they have their own nuances. They use 8 ground control points. That gives you the mean error of 1.31 inches, or 1/10 of a foot. This is the location of their ground control points, which the camera uses in the processing to align itself and overlay itself properly. I would have used at least 10. which would bring that 8 ground control points. You have this error value here. A couple more ground control points would decrease this error value. So here's each individual ground control point as outlined on this map. Densification and meshing. Yeah, there's 11 million points in that point cloud there. Digital elevation model right here. So it gives you that pretty high overview kind of report. We can go back in here. We can turn on contour lines. There's contour lines. Give you a kind of a sketch of the area like that in that way. If we go to 3D and look at contours, it gives like a map. Let's turn contours back off. There's annotations in here. So for each of these stockpiles, if it's something you're doing over time, you can put annotations in here as to variations and things. Added 284,000 yards to this pile. Okay, so there's annotations there to changes over time to each of these stockpiles. Additional trucks needed. There has been an exponential increase in production for this area. We'll need more trucks to begin hauling material off-site. So it helps keep track of that information as well. So you're getting your volume, you're getting your value. You can annotate issues and stuff like that. In addition to that, if we go to this reports tab, there's different kinds of reports we can generate. Progress reports, stockpile report, for example. It's going to build a report here. And this is interactive, and I can, this is a report I could share with you electronically. It wouldn't just come out as a PDF. It has your labels for the different materials here, as you can see, number of stockpiles, and it gives you your total volumes for all the stockpiles. It gives you your total tonnage for all the stockpiles, and gives you the total value for all of those stockpiles cumulatively as well as individually. So you can see each of these individual stockpiles here, their volume and their tonnage and value. So I mean, this is pretty powerful software here. Pavement report, solar report, roof report, pre-pour concrete report. So if you have an area that they're going to be pouring, you can get a report of the area before and after. If you have, by such and such a date, we were supposed to have poured X amount of cubic yards of concrete, and we go and we do a 3D model of the area, it's going to show if you are on schedule or behind schedule. If you're supposed to have poured this much by this date, but you've only poured, supposed to pour 500 yards, which I think is pretty small amount. I don't know. 500 cubic yards, but you've only poured 300 cubic yards. Well, we're behind schedule. So there's all kinds of different things that we can do in here, and the information that you need as to what's going on with your stockpiles. Again, these tools might be valuable for you on sites, not just necessarily in the quarry. Anyway, I wanted to show this to you. I really like this platform for a lot of reasons. I can put this program on my iPad. I can put it on the controller, and gives you good accuracies, as you can tell, of your stockpiles and other information that you need. I hope you found this useful. I hope you are seeing the value that Digital Falcon can bring moving forward beyond just photography and videography. Not just photography and videography. Those are valuable skills that I've spent years honing and learning and getting good at. But the sky's the limit with this, and I wanted to give you this example so that you could see what I'm seeing and maybe see if there's ways that this could be applied and used in your operations. So give me some feedback on that so that I know if this is something that's useful for you, in what ways it can be used for you. If there's any questions that you have about it, about how it works, what it does, if the information I've given you has been insufficient in any way, let me know. I would love to go over this with you so that we can see if this is a service that would be useful for you. I really believe it would be. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking because you know me. I'll just keep yammering until whenever. So, all right.